Here's an interview from one of our past shows on Rock and Metal Revival. If you're interested in hearing full shows, go to our Facebook page and check out our list of affiliates for times and places where you can hear Rock and Metal Revival.
All right, that was Love's Blind off of Wide Awake in My Dreamland from Jeff-Scott-Soto on his new solo album coming out in November. Hey, and on the phone, I got none other than the guy who's responsible for this album, Jeff-Scott-Soto. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm great. The best thing when you're calling into a station and you're waiting to speak to the person on the other end is when you get to hear your song in the background. I was singing along. It's really cool. It's one of those defining moments as a young artist or as a kid when you're dreaming about, man, how cool would that be to hear my song on the radio? So I still get that, even though I'm 54 years old. I still get that little tingle, like, wow, that's my song. It's being played on the radio.
Nice. Now, so how did this album come together as far as picking who was going to be on it and what songs you were going to use and stuff like that? I mean, it's got to be kind of a long process.
Yes and no. It can be. This particular one, no, because it all started with Frontier sitting me down last year and discussing parameters of this new album. They dropped Alessandro's name as someone they really liked me to collaborate with on the new album, and I thought it was a spectacular idea because not only have I known Alessandro for many years now, and we've discussed, man, we got to do something together, got to work together in some capacity. I've seen him in these past years just become an anomaly, but within himself, he's become such a great producer, songwriter, engineer, singer. I mean, the guy can do everything and anything, and he's just brilliant at it. So watching his progress, it excited me more that what he was going to be able to bring to the picture with me. And one of the things I keep bringing up in all the interviews I'm doing now for this record is he didn't tell me at the time, and I'm glad he didn't tell me at the time because I might have been worried of what he might have been coming up with. But later he ended up telling me, for this album, I wanted to take the best of what I hear, the best of what I love about your voice and your career, and kind of make a contemporary mishmash of the things that I love about your singing and about the songs that you've released through your years. I might have been worried about that had he told me that before we started working together, that he was just going to plagiarize, this song or that album, that sound. But instead, he didn't tell me, and he just did it. And every time he was sending me this song, I'd be, oh my God, this is great. We didn't have to pick and choose. He didn't write 20 songs, and I chose 11 out of those. Mm-hmm. Every song he sent me, like, we got to do that one, got to do that one. And once we had enough songs for the record, that's it. Please don't send me any more, because then it's going to be difficult to start choosing. And we ran with those, and I was able to write my lyrics and carve out my end of those songs. But this guy, he wrote all the music. He played all the instruments, so all the demos that I got to hear, and I'm talking quality stuff. He sent me almost, it sounded like you could have released it tomorrow. It was that good.
Wow.
But of course, I was kind of pressed for time when I was making this record, and because he sent me such great work already, I kind of gave him my blessing to just take the album, take the reins, and bring on whatever guitar player he feels is best for this record. The only contingency is I absolutely had to use my drummer, Edu, because he absolutely thinks the way I would if I were a drummer. And from there, Alessandro's just pieced this thing together like masterfully. And I'm so happy with the results, and I really give him a lot of credit for this record.
Nice, because I gotta say it's a great record. There's not a song you're gonna skip on it. Every song is a stellar. I especially
that
like.
Means a lot. It means a lot to me, of course, because it's validation of the things that I've done in my past that Alessandro felt like he was kind of picking and pawing at.
Yeah. And there's some. He did a good job picking guitar players because the guitar solos. Being a guitarist myself, that's one thing I'm like. I always listen to the guitar solo to see, there's something in there that jumps out.
95% of the guitar work is the one guy's, Fabrizio Scattoni from Italy.
Yeah.
And I to this day, I've never even seen this guy in person, much less shake his hand. But this was a call Alessandro made because he knows the Fabrizio, never worked with him before, but he thought he's such a brilliant guitar player, he had to get him on a project someday, and that project was my album. He he saved my album because he knew Fabrizio would not only love to do it, but he knew he would just destroy it, like just slay it. And that's why he does the majority of the work. And I got my buddy August Satcher doing one solo on the record. And I even have Jorge Salon. Unfortunately, I forgot to credit him on the record. I was so mumble-brained. He does the opening solo, like a little melodic solo at the beginning of a song called Mystify. But other than that, it's Fabrizio doing the entire record for the most part. And he truly just encapsulated every guitar player I love into all those solos.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of wow moments going, whoa. Yeah. Whoa, that was cool. Yeah, definitely. And now, seeing how this album's got so many great songs, now if you were going on tour, not that you can't, but, if you could, which would you have? You'd probably have a hard time picking what songs you'd want to play off of this album because they're all so good. But
yes and no. When I'm putting a set list together, primarily my main objective is to not only pick and choose songs that I know people want to listen to, but I have to be smart in knowing if I have 4 nights in a row of singing, then I'm not going to be doing things that are hard to achieve nightly. And by night 4, I'm not going to have any artillery left. So I kind of think of both ends. I think of making sure that I can be healthy and be able to pull these things off. But on the other hand, I have to be realistic. I can't choose something that starts off in the high register and goes even higher and expect that it's going to work perfectly every night. So that it would probably make that process a little easier overall if I had to pick and choose. I would start with that ideal and work my way down from there.
Oh, okay. That makes perfect sense, yeah. So now you've released a couple videos for this so far, Love's Blind and Without You. Now, seeing how you can't tour, is there any more plans for some more videos for the...
Probably not. I mean, COVID has been pretty much it's been the killer of a lot of details of what we do that, like, we need it anymore. The lack of physical sales have really affected artists. In some cases, the lack of ticket sales. Everybody's got their own struggles of what they're having to go through as an artist. And now COVID's made it even worse. So as far as monies that are available and normally available to spend on promo items such as videos, I was told this might be my only video that I'm able to make for this record. So I wanted to make sure it was done for my favorite song on the record. That's why I chose Without You as that one, if it's going to be the only one. I would love some kind of sleeper hit or interest to happen where, hey man, this thing's selling great. Hey man, your video hit over 1 million views. That it prompts them to make another one or continue to do these promo items. Yeah. But on the realistic end, we have to go with what we know we're going to be able to do, and then let the rest just kind of take course on its own.
I can understand that. I can understand that totally. Now, you've been pretty prolific as far as putting out material. Music, as far as like even with bands and your solo stuff. How do you find time to do anything else?
Well, that question can be answered without even being asked. When you think about anybody who has a full-time job, anybody who has a career in anything else in their lives, this is what they do. This is what they're expected to do. All I'm expected to do is make music, and I'm lucky enough that I'm still able to do it and make a living and still survive on it. That being said, this is not a job for me. This is something that I do already, and then when I have to do it as my job, it's already done. It's a done deal. I'm not thinking, I got to get dressed and wake up and go to work. This is what's expected of me, and I just continue doing it, and I don't have to put on different hats and different shoes for this. This is just what happens naturally in my life. So it's a no-brainer. It's part of my DNA that this is what I'm doing for my life.
Oh, okay, yeah. So now the CD release has a bonus disc of your live performance from Download Festival. Is that right? Or
no, it's from the Frontiers Rock Festival that they have every year in Italy.
Okay. And you did a live version of Stand Up from our favorite movie and our favorite band that never was, Steel Dragon. Steel Dragon. Now, we've talked to Jeff Pilson. We've talked to Zach Wilde. They're in. So we're trying to get that's the whole reason this radio show ever started, was to get Steel Dragon back together and get him on tour and get another album.
Jason Bonham, and he's in. So
yeah.
I don't know what we're waiting for.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. You guys, that would be something. That'd be awesome. Because that soundtrack is one of my favorite movie soundtracks
I appreciate that. And I wish there were more songs. I wish it was a full album available. Or the problem would be, who would be the singer for it? Would it be Bobby Beers, the original singer? Or would the singer of the album be, Mark Wahlberg's character? Or would it be Miles Kennedy, because he was the last singer?
Oh, so, yeah.
Interesting thing to think about.
Miles is in. He'd take part, he said.
I'm sure he is. I think that would be an absolute thrill. I think people would love it. And before we got too old that we couldn't do it, to be honest with you, I remember vaguely that was the actual idea behind this, is because it was a fictitious band, that if the movie really took off, they wanted to put Steel Dragon on the road, kind of like Spinal Tap did a tour.
Yeah.
When they made this fictitious movie about a band that never existed, they actually put the band together and did an actual tour. I think they wanted to kind of do the same thing with Steel Dragon, but unfortunately, as we all know, the movie came out the same weekend, the weekend before 9/11, and that pretty much destroyed the chances of that movie becoming bigger than it should have been. It ended up being a great cult classic, but I think if the movie and the whole, interest or demand would have been there, I think we would have done it by now.
That's cool. I would have. That's like, I'd totally love that album. Then, and that movie, it would have been better without Mark Wahlberg. A real rocker in there instead of Marky Mark.
I don't agree. I thought he did a great job.
And he did good.
He's an actor, and he was acting a role. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. And let's see. So what's going on with Sons of Apollo? Anything in the works?
We've rebooked all our 2020 dates, or MMXX, whatever you want to call the last album.
Okay.
We rebooked those dates 3 times already, and we're fingers crossed and holding on with hope that we don't have to rebook yet again. We're supposed to go back out in April and May next year, and then even do a bunch of summer festivals and blah, blah, blah. But that's all hearsay,
Yeah.
When you hear about, I heard about my alma maters, the guys in the Queen Extravaganza, who had a tour rebooked for 2021, just had to cancel it and scrap it till 2022. It's now starting to worry me that we're going to be able to follow through with the now 3rd rebooked dates. We really don't know. All we can do is hope, pray, and follow along with whatever guidelines are going to give us that opportunity to get back out there. At this point, all we can do is make sure we have our position, we have our slot, so if we're able to do it, that we can do it.
Yeah, okay. And now, at least you did put out that live album with the DVD and the Blu-ray DVD, and the 3-disc live album is awesome. And the cover tunes you guys did, wow. I mean, I got goosebumps when I heard you guys do "Diary of a Madman." I've never heard anybody play that live before, and especially
this is a trademark for Mike Portnoy. Every band he's in, they've released a live album pretty much on every tour. Every band he's in, he's always done covers of his favorite bands. He's the guy that makes the set list for Sons of Apollo. So he was the one that made the master list of his dreams songs that he's always wanted to cover. And so from that, we were able to see we were able to choose from his master list. It wasn't like, hey, can you throw in a Prince song? Can you throw in a Bowie? Well, I think he did have Bowie. But from the master list of things that I knew realistically that I could pull off, that I could sing, those were the ones that ultimately we all decided in the end. But Mike, he's pretty good with that kind of stuff, and I have to say his track record for making set lists and organizing those kinds of things are pretty good. So I never second guess him, because I just love when he does those kind of things. He did it with Dream Theater all the time, choosing certain covers that he knew people would love to hear live, and it was great. And so he's doing the same thing with Sons of Apollo.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys do a cover of "In the Cradle Will Rock" by Van Halen, which was really cool. Now,
we actually did that cover as an encore for the entire tour. That was the only cover, besides the Dream Theater songs, I don't call those covers because that's part of my history and Mike and Derek's history. Those were that was the